I'm here in my kitchen with the ingredients to make some granola. So right here I have some raw honey, I have some coconut oil, I have my granola, I have some ground cinnamon, I have some ground cardamom, some pumpkin seeds, some cashews, some ground flax seeds, raisins, and cranberries. Okay, so right now I have a flat skillet, and I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons full. I'm not really measuring this because this recipe, you just make however, the amount that you want. So I'm going to put about 2 heapingfuls of this coconut oil into the pan, and I'm going to probably add about 2 to 3 heapingfuls of the honey into the pan. So while the pan is on. Okay, so I only added about 1 heapingful of the coconut oil, and I'm doing like 2 heapingfuls of the raw honey, but I'm going to need both of my hands to kind of get the rest of the honey off of the spoon. So basically I want to melt the honey and the coconut oil enough so that I can add my spice. Okay, so I'm just sprinkling in my cinnamon. So that was probably about a teaspoon or 2 full. You can add as much or as little bit of cinnamon as you like. Okay, this is cooking a little bit fast because I just only really need to melt it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the fire, and I'm just going to remove this from the heat because I don't want to burn my oil or my honey. So you just only want to melt it, that's all. And then you got to work quick because the honey is like really sticky. So let me add the cardamom now. Okay, so here's my cardamom. So just not a lot, just a bit. So you can add nutmeg, or I added cinnamon, just whatever allspice, whatever spices that you want to add to help flavor your granola. So that's all melted how I want it. So now I'm going to add my rolled oats. Okay, so I have a cup of rolled oats. I'm going to add about 2 cups. So let me get another cup. And these are the thick rolled oats because I like that they're not the thin. The regular ones are kind of flimsy to me. So I like the thick ones because they don't crush and kind of turn to mush the same way that the thinner ones do. So what I'm doing, this is not on the heat. So what I'm doing now is I'm just basically mixing and coating the oats in the honey and coconut oil. Of course you can use butter like I said if you want to, but I like using the coconut oil. So before I get this all coated, I'm going to put in a couple of handfuls of my dried fruit. And the dried fruit that I'm using are cranberries and raisins. And like I said before, you can use whatever kind of dried fruit that you would like to be in your granola. Okay, so I actually added my nuts and my seeds first. So I added probably about 3/4 cup or a little less than half a cup of the cashews, and about maybe 3/4 cup of the pumpkin seeds. So I kind of like a lot of nuts and seeds in mine, so that's how come I added as much as I did. So now you can stop here and go ahead and get ready to put this in the oven to bake, or you can add your dried fruits. So let me go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I have, as you can see, I have my raisins and my cranberries in here. So I'm just, well, I guess I can leave it over here. So I'm just going to turn the heat back on, and it's not going to be a very high. I'm turning it to like as low as I can get it, just to kind of help mix this up some. I'm not really trying to cook it, but my honey is kind of starting to thicken up on me, so I need it to be basically more watery, so I can like really get this mixed in here. And when I'm done, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of my, let me show you. Let me get it, had to reach for it. I'm going to sprinkle a bit of my ground flaxseed on top. So let me go ahead and get this mixed up and show you what it looks like after I've really mixed it. Okay, so right here I have a baking pan, and I just have a little bit of olive oil, coconut oil on it, and I'm just basically I'm greasing the pan basically so that my sticky granola won't stick to the pan once I put it in the oven. Turn me upside down. Okay, so my mix is ready. I'm just going to sprinkle some of my ground flax. That's not a lot, just right on top, just because we like that. And I'm just going to give this a quick toss. Look at that, doesn't that look yummy? And I'm going to transfer it all to this baking sheet. And I'll show you what it looks like right before I put it into the oven. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm using the back of my spoon to just flatten it out to each corner of this baking sheet. Just like this. You know, here you kind of want to spread it out to make sure that each piece of granola and each piece of little dried fruit and each nut and each seed gets nice and toasty in the oven. So my hand's a bit sticky, so I forgot to preset my oven, but I'm going to preset my oven to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to place this in the oven and let it bake. So basically you want it to get crisp, not burnt but crisp. So I'm going to bake it for probably about maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so until it starts to really brown up. Okay, so the oven's on 350, and I'm going to take my granola and I'm going to cook it in the oven, like I said, for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so I actually had my granola in for more than 15 minutes because honestly I forgot about it. So I don't know if you can tell, the color on my camera isn't really picking up, but it's nice and toasty. So, and it's a bit sticky, but what's going to happen is once it kind of hits the air and it starts to dry, it'll become hard like granola. So what you have to do is let it sit here until it cools completely, and it'll have that crunchy granola texture or granola feel about it. So I'm going to sit here and let this cool off. You have to let this cool completely. So it's safe right here. I'm going to let this cool completely and then put it in a baggie. Okay, so this granola is nice and crunchy sounding, so that means it's dry. So I have a little plastic bag here, and I'm just going to basically transport the granola from off of this cookie sheet and into the bag. So my granola is bagged, and this keeps for quite some time, although it doesn't last very long. So my children love it, my husband loves it, and I love it. Like, you can eat it just like this, right out of the bag. Serve it on top of some fresh fruit or some plain yogurt. And, you know, you don't have to waste any money buying pre-bought granola in the store. So, hope you enjoyed.